What's up, YouTube? Tonight we have with us Twitch streamer Zanadood. He's an amazing guy, puts on a great show, plays all kinds of different games. He's a variety streamer just like us. You guys should really go check him out and enjoy his content. But tonight we're going to talk about something else. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Let's Play Death Ray. My name's David.
I already did my part.
Wow. You're the worst. And we have with us an amazing streamer, Zanadood. Why don't you go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you and kind of what your channel's about?
So my name is Zanadood. You can find me on TikTok as Mr. Zanadood. You can find me on Twitter as Zanadood, but someone took that, so there's 2 zeros instead of O's. And as you can tell, I didn't really think much about my branding when I first started off. But those are the 2 main social medias that I use besides Twitch. And just a little bit about myself. I am a high school teacher. That's kind of like my main focus as personality-wise on my streams. A lot of time we talk about school and education. And outside of that, you know, just regular guy, has a dog, likes to spend time with his family.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm trying to get my notes pulled up right now because when I opened up the stream on my phone, it closed all my notes, so that's fun. I love this phone for its camera and everything else, but like all other functionality, just absolutely the worst. It functions like a high-end camera, not a phone. But so I'm glad you mentioned the teacher thing, because actually that's kind of where I wanted to start off, not going too in depth because I know it's your day job and no one wants to talk about that too much. But what subject do you teach?
So last year I was at a middle school and I taught computer science, and that's the one I feel the most comfortable with. But this year, just due to like budgeting things, I got a job at a high school and I teach engineering and robotics. Okay. And so I've never taught it before. So this year has been like an absolute whirlwind of like just learning what to teach. I'm like two days ahead of the kids at all times.
The fact that you can stay ahead of the kids, I mean, that's a mark in my book. So also that's awesome. So many robotics people lately, man. Like everyone in our circle is into robotics.
Yeah. You interviewed Camilla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she actually helped me get started with like the robotics program because we're using the program that she volunteers for. And so she like answered like a ton of my questions earlier on in the summer when I was like freaking out about it.
Right. That's amazing. Yeah, no, Camilla is a great person. And like, I know, is it the first program that you guys are going through? Yeah, it's a great program. We actually found out when we interviewed her, that Kyle was involved with that when he was in high school. So.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's super cool. Just how connected everyone and everything is. And it's always interesting talking to teachers, at least for me, because like I've had a very interesting relationship with teachers because I didn't really meet teachers who weren't my parents until I went to college. But I've been around educators my whole life. Like we babysat for school teachers when I was a kid, and one of my martial arts mentors was he actually built the television and broadcast department here at a local high school, and ran it for, holy crap, like 30 years before he left town. And so it's crazy to see the ingenuity and things that teachers can pull off with a budget that is smaller than mine, and I don't make a lot of money. So, if you could, so I know you said you were more comfortable with computer science. What if you could teach any subject, any grade, anywhere in the world, where and what would it be?
I think I would teach middle school computer science again.
Okay.
I absolutely loved it because first off, I don't have to worry about like getting into the high end things. Like no one's asking me what an array is or like, and like there's just certain questions where I was like, all right, well, I didn't go to school for this. I've been teaching myself, so I can't answer that question, but let's find the answer together. That's what I always have to say. But middle school is just the age where like kids don't really know that they're good at something until like someone kind of brings them along and is like, no, like you're doing a good job. Like, you know, this is something that you can build on later on in life and make a career out of it. And I think that was the coolest thing, because I had kids that are like, oh, I've never thought that I could do computer science, because they think it's hard. And I thought it was hard, and it is kind of, but not if you have someone kind of like showing you the steps and being patient with you. And that was it was kind of, I don't want to say life changing because my life didn't change, but I like to think that I could show someone that they could do a skill that they just didn't think that they could, and that was definitely. But anywhere in the world, I would definitely like to try to get out of my state that I've lived in my entire life and try to do it somewhere else. But with like licensing, like that's not going to happen until a few years until I can like switch it. But either way, I would like to try, maybe I would like to go to the West Coast. I think California or like even like the Southwest would be fun.
Okay. Like kind of like New Mexico area.
Yeah, I went on vacation there over the summer.
Oh, nice.
Did like a van life trip for a week and a half, and it was fun. But I think I'm just tired of snow and the cold. I live in the northeast United States, and as much as I like it, sometimes it drains on you in the winter months.
Mm-hmm.
We live in Wyoming. We're expecting up to 18 inches of snow tomorrow. So yeah.
Tomorrow, starting this. Oh, okay. I'm taking back my complaint. It's not that bad up here. It'll be fine. I'll suck it up.
It was also 90 degrees 2 weeks ago. We got 2 weeks of fall weather. 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's this year's real bad with that. I find it funny that you chose middle school for the grade that you love to teach. Because hey, Jake, what was the group of kids that you would refuse to teach?
Oh, middle school. Look, people who can't teach middle school are a blessing to the world, dude.
They are wild, but like there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of hormones flaring up, but there was just some really good responses that I had. And obviously there was kids that were just like, F you, like, I don't want to do this, stuff like that. But other than that, like a lot of them were receptive, and it was a huge middle school too. So I guess I'd really want to go to like a smaller one where my class sizes are smaller. I can spend a little bit more time not grading. That'd be fun.
Right?
What? No, that's a teacher's favorite thing. What are you talking about? Let's see. That's why I'm glad I teach in a professional setting. I don't have to grade if I don't want to. I teach people technical skills, not, life skills.
I don't think I'd want to ever teach adults though in the technicals. That's a blessing because I feel like some people are not as responsive unless they want to be there. But like,
yeah, I guess that's fair. Like, I don't know. I guess it's because, what I do, I teach it to you. And if you want to apply it, great. And if you don't, well, sucks to suck. But yeah, I guess you're right. Most of the people that I teach don't really have it. Like, don't give a shit about what I have to say. So that's.
I could say the same for me too. Yeah.
Usually I just shut David out.
Well, I don't try to teach you anything, Kyle.
Let me teach you a few things, though.
So I have to ask, since you mentioned it already, with the robotics, is that something that you've recently gotten into, or have you kind of had an interest a long time, or how did that work?
I've always kind of had an interest in it, but like I would just like play with like Raspberry Pis and like hook servos up to them and try to make like these wonky robots that never were able to walk. But since I did have like a background in computer science, and there wasn't a lot of people looking to get this job particularly, they're like, oh, you could do it. And so I've always been interested in it, and now I've had to really get interested into and really learn a lot about it. And so as you can, behind me is just like a half-made robot that I'll finish eventually at some point, just practicing for when the kids get to that point, I can at least know how to do it. But yeah, I do have my cousin works for Boston Robotics, like the place that has like the jumping dog thing, or like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he got a job there a few years ago. And ever since then, I've just been like really interested in keeping up to date on like the developments in the industry.
It's crazy what robotics can do. And I know we have a buddy who went to school and went to the AI program at University of Wyoming. And, when you combine the two of what robotics is starting to learn and what they can make those do and what AI is starting to be able to do, it's wild, man. Like, I don't know. It's weird now because you watch like Back to the Future and you think of what people, thought that 2021 or 2020 was going to be like. And now I'm kind of looking at some of the video games in like 2040, 2042 and going, maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be like scary what people come up with, you know, like not scary like horror, but like it's just creepy. I've seen some of the AI like videos of like conversations, and I'm like, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Getting close to those killer robots every day.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's weird to think that we're that close, I think, to another technological boom, because like where the science isn't really as big of a thing for me. I've had an interest in it, but I haven't really studied it. My field was always sociology and criminology and things like that. I study people. And it's going to be weird to see how our world reacts, especially with things like COVID-19 and everything that have happened in the last year or so, when that technology starts to become commonplace and we find ways for the average man to have access to things that are AI and robotics powered.
did you see the Amazon robot that's like is in your house? I forget what it's called, but it's like this like little robot that will like follow you around, and like it has like Alexa built in, and if it hears like glass shattering, like a dog, like it'll play like a dog barking sound. Like it is. I showed this to my kids because I was like, "What do we think about this?" Because I think this is freaky. Like I do not like this, but I can't remember what it's called. But it's going to be like an Alexa that follows you around, and you can like put drinks in it and be like, "Bring this to this person." And it like maps out your house like in like a grid that it will follow.
I wonder how it does with stairs, because that might be a problem for us.
I thought about that too. It didn't look like it had a climbing thing. It was just wheels, but that freaked me out because I was like, oh, you're gonna have an Amazon robot in every house. I couldn't see this going wrong at any point, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. It's I don't know. It's interesting to think about, because like you look at how influenced culture is by the technology around us. I mean, everything from pop culture to policy decisions to you name it. It'll be interesting to see how robotics and AI, I think, affect that over the next 20 years. Because I personally think that we're, especially now, like I didn't know about that robot, but we're getting more and more integrated with all of these things already. And I know like Elon Musk is working on his android, basically his human-shaped, human-sized robot that can do tasks for you, which I mean, obviously that'll be for the super rich for another, 100 years or so, but like, holy crap.
I know we're gonna have like an iRobot situation on our hands very soon.
Yeah.
Sooner than I thought, you know.
Yeah, I know. And we still don't have the flying cars. What the hell?
Different priorities.
Yeah. I think we stopped caring about transportation that way.
But we're working on self-driving cars.
That is true. And they're getting better all the time. The Tesla stuff is scary good. Man, robots and AI can do some creepy stuff. How long before Futurama? When are we going to get vacuum tubes through the cities?
If only.
Well, just hopefully we don't have to go through 2 alien invasions and destructions of the world before then, right?
I plan on shoving myself in a freezer for a while anyway. It'll be fine.
Oh my god.
Talk cryogenics work, right? I'm just going to climb in a freezer. I'll be fine.
Yeah, I just want to come back to the fun stuff. All the stuff leading up to it, maybe not, but I just want to pop out and it's all there.
There we go. But getting back to the serious for a second. So with your robotics program, do you guys plan to do any of the like big competitions, or are you guys just kind of entry level, or?
So the first year we're doing something called the First Tech Challenge, which is not the First Robotics Challenge, because that is intense. And anybody who's ever done that is like a genius in my book. I know, but it is like really high level, really technical skills. And since they haven't had a robotics program at this school, we all just kind of decided like, we're going to take the first year, we're going to play it easy. We're going to, get our hands dirty with it. And then we're doing like a mock challenge at like a local university. So the first year is just going to be learning and getting ready, and we're going to get like some mentors in and just other people that have been through the program to help us out, because it is like a lot to prepare. I was watching YouTube videos of the first robotics challenge. I was like, how intense could this be? And there's like teams coming from all over. It is jam-packed. People are screaming about it was insane. So we're definitely going to take it easy the first year as I get a little bit more comfortable with it, and so is the kids. And we just want to recruit a little bit more too, since we haven't had the program there. So my classes are really small right now because kids didn't even know it was an option last year. So, which is kind of nice right now. But the hope is that it grows bigger, we get more interest, and then next year we're willing to compete. And there's some established teams in in the area. So we're going to be going up against some other towns that have been doing this for like the last 10 or so years. So it's a little daunting.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it's like you said, it's crazy. Like they range anywhere from like near BattleBots level stuff to basketball chucking robots to some of the challenges. After we interviewed Nikki and she told us about some, I went on YouTube and started looking stuff up, and man, some of the things those kids have made the robots do, I'm like, wow, okay, cool. Well, that 15-year-old's smarter than me. That's cool.
Yeah, I was sweating. I was watching these videos and sweating, and I was like, oh, I don't know how to do that, let alone make the kids do it. So it's definitely going to be a learning process throughout the next year.
That's fair. But I'm sure you guys will dive right into it. And man, if it's anything like any of the engineering or robotics kids that I've met in the past, like it won't be long and you guys will be right in the swing of things and they'll be discovering all kinds of new stuff. And I like that there's those options, because there's so few options for kids in school, especially, I don't know where it's at where you are, but here, I mean, they sometimes have other stuff to do, but not a whole lot. It's like, do you like football? No? Okay, well, no extracurricular.
Yeah.
That's not really the case anymore. It used to be that way. It's not that way here anymore.
That's true.
There's a ton of clubs and stuff.
We're starting to get better about it, but it's still not like, I mean, the 4-H and the FFA still dominate everything.
Dude, there's more kids in the robotics club here than there is in the 4-H right now. I can
Really?
tell you, at least like as of 2 years ago, like way more.
That surprises me because I know the 4-H gets a ton of money.
Oh yeah, it's probably still better funded, but
yeah, it's insane here how much like everyone there's local businesses that give them money every year and all this stuff, which is cool. Like, go do your thing. But when I was in high school, it was like the only option besides football. It was, do you want to raise goats or do you want to be on the football team? Like,
those are your two options.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to a small high school too, and we really did not have, like, we were a sports high school, and I was not super into sports. I played football, but like I never actually played football. Like, they gave me a jersey and I sat around and I went to practice. But so if I had those kinds of options like these kids do now, I would have definitely jumped the gun on that instead of what I did.
Right. I probably would have actually gone to public high school if there were other things to do. that was the big decider for me. It was the only thing that, like, because I was homeschooled up until I hit college. My mom was willing to let me go to high school, but I didn't want to, because as I started looking into it, one, I was ahead of everyone my age, grade wise, and two, there was nothing there wasn't even at the time. The one high school that I wanted to go to had canceled their shop class for the year because something had happened to the shop. So there was it was football or 4-H. That was it. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'll just stay home.
Yeah, the school that I'm at now is like a magnet school. I don't know exactly what that means, but I know that they have like a huge art department.
That's awesome.
Like, you can take ceramics, you could take art history, you can take like all these crazy electives, as well as like engineering. They have a computer IT class where you actually get like it's like a junior senior class where by the end of it you start to get like Cisco certifications, like at least like the first two that are like very, the first two out of like however many there are. But I just thought that I was like, if that was an option, like that would have been crazy. Like just getting, just so many different options for students to like get their interests in like an educational setting. But not even heard of at my school that I had a graduating class of like 100.
Wow. Yeah, I wish that everyone could get that option. And I know obviously money's a factor because it's what runs the world, but I wish that all the schools had that kind of those kind of options. I mean, it's important. Like, one, every kid does not learn the same way, and not every kid is going to